I just spent the first week in my new CXU 613. The truck came with about 500 miles on the odometer because they used it to pull 2 more trucks from the plant in Pennsylvania to Cambridge, Ontario. And right now the odometer sits at about 3,200. I went to Missouri. I took a load to Missouri, then headed to Illinois and brought a load to Quebec City, Quebec, and then came back empty to Ontario. And I'm pulling a 55-ton RGN float trailer, and the truck has 3.91 gears, 505C plus MP8 engine with 505 horsepower and allegedly 1860 torque in all gears. So here's what I like so far. I like the looks, and everybody likes, gives me good comments, good feedback. The truck looks really cool. I like the sound of the engine because I got mine with the dual exhaust and Mack mufflers. They give you this distinctive exhaust note. Love it. 18-speed transmission. I got manual Eaton. My old truck had a 13-speed, and I see a big difference. So 18-speed is very easy to shift, and it's a good fit with the engine and the 3.91 ratio. I like powerful headlights. It's a much easier on the driver to drive this truck as compared to my old truck. It has that extra feature we can pull the knob to activate the lights in the bumper, additional lights in the bumper. They're not just utility lights, they really increase your the field of view at night. I like the unusual square fuel tanks. This is the first truck that I ever drive over the road truck that has square tanks. They're easy to work with, and they take more fuel because the cap sits on top instead of on the side as with round tanks. So the fuel filter is a great feature with its transparent bottom. Pretty much, I think it's the same type they use on a Volvo. Sorry for the noise. There's a guy next to me. He's trying to pull a very old rusted flatbed trailer out of parking lot, and its wheels don't spin. Like the rear axle is totally screwed up. Like he's just dragging it. Like here's a look. Check this out. Very old trailer, just sitting next to my Mack, and the guy's just hoping that pulling it will somehow unlock. They're probably maybe frozen or something. Sometimes when you go back a little bit, it helps. Anyway, so the fuel filter is great because you can see if it has water or not, right? And then you can drain, and actually it has a light on the dash. When you do have water in there, it'll say there's a special light which will come on and say that you have water in fuel. So I like that. I like the good design of the air intake. There's dual intakes on the sides, but there's one filter, but the filter case has an opening, and you don't have to open it. You open the actual case to see if the filter is dirty or clean. So much easier than with my previous truck. The radio is great quality. I don't feel the need to change any speakers. Sounds very nice, and it has Bluetooth. I use it quite a few times with my smartphone, and it works very well. The steering wheel, I'm the type of guy that likes the steering wheel that not too thick and not too thin. Like I drove a Freightliner Columbia, and the steering wheel was too thin. This one is perfect. I love the outside mirrors on the cab. They're all chrome and they have that bulldog picture, and at night they have 2 lights on them, 2 clearance lights. They'll look really cool. On the passenger side though, there's a window at the bottom which improves your visibility basically eliminates the dead spot. You can see if there's a car in there or not, you know, when you drive. The bed is pretty comfortable, very big mattress, you know, thick. You can get a very good night's sleep in there. There's a Webasto heater, which at first I had some trouble with starting. Tried 3 or 4 times, it would not start, it was just blowing cold air, but eventually it started. And I still have to learn. I think there's another feature there, because I see there's air conditioning controls in the bunk. And I think I read something about this, that you can activate air conditioning when the truck is not idling, but I still have to learn that. Okay, I like the dashboard lights at night. They have this distinctive blue and red combination. You can also get an option of the footwell illuminated, but I don't have that one. But the cab at night looks very, you know, modern. I like that you have the clearance lights flasher on the left side of the steering wheel. You can flash your not only the clearance lights, but you can also flash the headlights. You don't have to do it from the dash like on my old truck. Utility lights in the back of the sleeper is a good feature. On my previous truck I had to pay extra to install them. This one already came with them. Air horns, you know, of course each truck has different sound. I like this one, it's kind of like deeper. I got 2 air horns on top of the roof. I like the fact that there's lots of performance gauges. Like I have turbo boost gauge, exhaust temperature gauge, and the driver information center has the sweet spot indicator. Also I can track my instant average fuel economy, you know, what you would expect from a modern truck. On my old truck, on 2004 International, I had to pay to get the turbo boost installed, and I still didn't have the exhaust temperature gauge. There was no sweet spot indicator, no fuel economy. Oh, for that one I had to buy an extra gauge, like $300. So this one is really much better equipped for an owner-operator. The frame, this is a regular truck. Okay, the axles are heavy, but the frame is the same as a standard frame, and it's taller and thicker than on my previous truck. I like that. Also, I like the 5th wheel. It's bigger and looks like more solid, you know, than the one on my International. I like the full locks on the axles, and also there's another knob for slippery snow mud, you know, when you drive on bad surfaces. Oh boy, what is this guy doing? Now he's back into van trailer. Well, at least I'm not in the way, because I'm parked in front of my Mack. You can see it behind me. So I like basically the truck should be okay in all kinds of surfaces, because I can use those interaxle locks, differential locks, and then this other knob for slippery conditions. Mine came with a 244 wheelbase, which is longer than my previous truck. I like that. There's lots of room to install my 4th axle, the lift axle, which is coming in a couple of days. The windshield, unlike on my previous truck, the windshield is split in 2 parts, and the visibility does not suffer, but it's easier on the pocket. If one of the part is, you know, damaged, you don't have to replace the entire windshield. I like that. So all the windows are all electric, which is cool, and I got power door locks, so I can lock and unlock, you know, both sides from just one side. And I forgot to mention the mirrors. The mirrors also have electric, you know, little knob on the dash that you can adjust them, you know, quickly. You don't have to do it manually like on my previous truck. So those are the things that I like. So all in all, yeah, I'm quite happy with the truck overall. But of course, there's still some things, you know, no truck is perfect. Here's what I don't like so far. And by the way, my subscribers will know that I don't try to, you know, camouflage things. No BS. So I'm giving it to you as it is. So that's what I feel after what is it, 2,700 miles. Thing number 1 I don't like is the fuel mileage. I know it's a brand new truck, everything is tight in the engine, but I've been pulling, what, the load to Missouri was, what was it, 30,000 pounds? No, 25,000. It was big, it was catching lots of wind. The mileage was 5.7 miles per gallon US, and I drove very slow. I tried 1400 RPM, I tried 57 miles per hour, so 1400 is 60 miles per hour in my truck with 3.91 ratio. On the way back, then I drove 200 miles empty to Illinois, and then on the way back it was a 47,000 pound machine. It was the same thing. I think it went up a little bit to 5.7, and then I drove empty from Quebec 400 miles and 57 miles per hour. I reached Toronto, it was still at 5.9. It never even reached 6. Okay, so I don't know. I hope that it will improve after the first oil change in a few thousand miles. But poor fuel mileage. Thing number 2 I don't like is the pulling power feels much weaker, even with 3.91 axle ratio, than my previous Cat, which had allegedly the same torque, 1850. Actually, this one has 1860 torque, and they say that on this truck it gives you like a flat curve anywhere between 1150 and 1400 RPM. You have the same torque, right? But it feels, the truck feels weaker with even like especially pulling the empty trailer. And of course the ECM, the computer, you know, adjusts the power. It doesn't want it to use all the power when you empty, so when you load it you actually feel more power. But when you empty, dragging this lowboy trailer on the hilly terrain like I was in Missouri, it just feels the truck is struggling, you know. Now I don't like the constant high engine oil temperature. I know they say that this is normal for this truck because of the, you know, emissions equipment, but it's always sitting at 240, 244 F, while the water is sitting at 170 F and doesn't move. I just don't like that. I also don't like that when the temperature, when you start the engine, the oil pressure starts at like almost 80 psi, then goes down to 60, but as the temperature of the oil goes up to 244, the pressure goes down to like 45 psi, and it sits there all day long. I don't like that. I don't think it's good for the truck to have such a low oil temperature, but the manual says that that's normal. So, but I'm just saying, like, my feedback as a driver, right? So I don't like the design of the dash, because the top is slanted, sorry, towards the window. Like you see how here, this is my Dodge Ram, right? So I got all this surface here, right? I can put, when I put my GPS in here, it's not moving anywhere, right? It's flat. On the Mack, it's slanted towards the window, and I had to buy, I was trying to find a piece of rubber that would make it, you know, increase the friction, because my GPS is constantly sliding towards the windshield. So either I have to put something under it, like a piece of rubber like I mentioned, or just hook it up to the windshield, but then I can get a ticket, because cops don't like things on the windshield, you know, nowadays. So I don't like that. I don't like the awkward position of the same fuel filter that I said I like, that it has a transparent bottom, but to get to it and open that drain valve, you have to basically be an acrobat and climb between the bumper and the front left tire. Very awkward. I don't like the design of the passenger seat, that didn't even put any suspension in there. So it's a rigid, you know, seat. You cannot adjust anything. Not this, not the bottom part, not the back. I think they should have at least added the feature to adjust the back, you know, for the passenger, because it's really not comfortable. I don't like the location of controls for windshield wipers, because of course on a modern truck it should be on the steering wheel. So I would like to see these controls on the steering wheel. Right now they're on the dash. Windshield wipers, cruise control, engine brake. In the sleeper, I love watching movies on my laptop at night, and there's only one cup holder. So there's nothing, like if you want to eat some food, basically you're screwed, because there's no tables, right? So I wish they would give you something on the back of the seat. Like, I know you can buy it, but I didn't see it yet. So some kind of like a folding table, like they have it in an airplane, because this is a very small sleeper, and I'm okay with the sleeper. I'm okay with the flat top. I think, you know, it's cool. It's lighter, cheaper, and the truck looks better. It's just that they should think about this, like what the driver does at night, you know? Like, I'm not sitting in my driver's seat all the time, right? I want to relax a little bit, play with my computer, you know, stuff like that. So having those folding little tables on the seats would really make my life easier, you know? And I don't like the guard dog when you start the truck. That guard dog on the dash comes on, and it's very loud, very annoying beeping till it looks at all your gauges and all your, you know, oil levels and coolant levels, stuff like that. I mean, why does it have to do that beeping all the time? Very annoying. And some guys mention on my channel, they say wait till you hit your horn a couple of times, and they were right. The horn, the electric horn in the middle of the steering wheel, is very sensitive. Even when you turn the steering wheel, you touch it slightly with your arm, and you know, people start looking at it like, what is this guy doing? You know, because involuntarily you can activate the horn. So, but all in all, I'm happy with the truck. Like I mentioned, no truck is perfect. I just wish I would order it with a 410 axle ratio for more power, and maybe get a slightly bigger sleeper. But I still want, just because of the tables, you know, because when you have a bigger sleeper, you have some tables or some surfaces, right? Some storage between the bed and the seats. But I would still go with a flat top sleeper. But Mack only gives you either 48 or what is mine, 58 flat top, right? If you want a bigger sleeper like 60 or 70, you need to go with a mid-roof, and those are more expensive, heavier. I like the look of the truck better with a flat top sleeper, and plus it's actually much easier to clean inside, you know. I don't need them big, except that, yeah, just for the tables, you know, where you can put some food or your coffee or water or something when you lie on the bed. And I'm still kind of struggling. I'm trying all these various RPMs, and as I mentioned, I drove at 1330 RPM, 1350, 1400, 1450, and I don't know, it seems like on the way back I tried 1400, and I reset, you know, my instant fuel mileage, because I can track 2 trips, trip 1, trip 2. So I left trip 1 as average from day 1. Basically it's going to show me average fuel mileage. That one still sits at 5.9, but trip 2, when I started driving at 1400 RPM and 60 miles an hour, all of a sudden I saw like 9, 8.5, and then I think it settled on what was it, 7.2, I think, after probably like an hour of driving at that speed with an empty trailer, which weighs 22,000 pounds. So I'm still trying to learn. So maybe this truck does like slightly higher RPM, you know, because 1400, that's the top of the maximum torque range, and the maximum horsepower is at 1500 RPM. So maybe 1400 might be better, so I don't know. But this is my first brand new truck, and I'm glad that I went with Mack, and I hope that these suggestions, likes and dislikes, will help other drivers, and maybe the factory will implement some of these suggestions. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.